excited to be here?
Me.
No, you gotta make some noise. Who's excited to be here? It's been like 8 million years since the last time we have been in here.
Like 8 million days.
Oh, it's only been, well, it feels like 8 million years. That's all I feel like an old man now.
Like 100 days.
True, it has been like almost 100 days. You're right. All right, so who's excited to be here? One more time. Or no, make noise. One more time. There we go. Okay. All right, well, who knows what series we are starting today? For the first time. Charlotte, you know it? Oh, you don't know it? Okay, let's see. You know it? What do we start with? Maybe not. Oh, that's okay if you don't know it. Yes. Life apps, that is correct. Oh, look, it's right up here on the screen. Life apps. Oh, it missed. Oh, wait. Oh no. Oh, there it is. All right, there it is. So it kind of looks like a phone, like apps, right? Right? Oh yeah, you don't have a phone, but that's what my phone looks like. But all of these are different fruits of the Spirit that we're going to be learning about during this series. So. We're going to be learning about love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Who needs some of those? Miss Patty needs some of those. Miss Paige needs some of those for sure. Yeah, we need some of those in our lives. But so we're going to be learning about those in the weeks to come. Now, make sure you guys are staying on your dots, not getting up and not touching anybody and not breathing on anybody. Okay. We're just going to be in our own, we're going to practice the last one here, self-control. We're going to be in our own self-bubble on our dot, okay? All right. Well, who has ever had a best friend before? Who has a best friend? Who has a best friend? Wow, like everybody has a best friend. Wow. All right, who is my best friend?
Me.
Oh, thank you. True. Yeah, true. I just was saying who here is my best friend? Who wants to be my friend? Okay, that's great. All right. Who has had a best friend that you don't really talk to anymore? Like maybe like they moved away, or maybe you kind of stopped spending time together and then you don't really see him as much. Does that happen to anybody? That's happened to some people, that you had a best friend that you don't really see him as much anymore? Two? Yeah, sometimes it happens, yeah.
We found a way that we can like contact each other. We're doing this FaceTime and
oh wow.
We do it like a few days a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's my friend Kelsey. My mom used to watch her from school, and now we were torn apart.
Oh wow, that's so sad. Yeah, so you get torn apart and then you can't see them anymore. And then they were your best friend, but now they're not really your friend anymore. Not because they did something wrong, not because you don't like them anymore, just because over time you just haven't seen them. And that happens with everybody. Everybody at one point has a friend that they don't really talk to anymore. Do you guys want to hear a story?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think you guys want to hear a story. You guys want to hear a story?
Is that a story about you shaving your mustache?
Okay. Well, I'll tell a story about me and one of my best friends. His name is Landon, and yes, he's my brother. All right. So this is one of my best friends, Landon. All right. So when we were kids, we loved playing with Legos. Does anyone else like Legos?
Me.
Okay. Who has like a huge collection of Legos?
Me.
Yeah. Okay. So do I. I still have Legos even today. I still have Legos all over my room because I just love Legos. I've always loved Legos. Legos are just the best. Yeah, exactly.
Don't like to put in the bins over there.
Exactly. So, when I was a kid, me and Landon both loved Legos. We'd play Legos all day, all the time. We would play together. But we each had our own separate Legos. Landon had his Legos, and I had my Legos. And so we didn't want to get them mixed up all the time, because then if I found a guy in my box, one of his guys would be like, oh, this is my guy now. And then he'd get mad. And so we would try to keep it separate. But we also liked playing together. So one day, we decided it might be a good idea to just join our Legos and to play a big game. Well, when that happens, then you mix up your Legos, and now when I say a big game, I'm talking about over the whole entire house. Okay? So like in the living room, in the family room, in the playroom, in my bedroom, in my parents' bedroom, in the bathroom, in the shower. We were everywhere. We've had Legos everywhere, all over the house. and like my mom would be like, why are there Legos in the sink? It's like, no, Mom, don't worry. It's just a game. It's just a game. We're playing a game. Okay. All right. So it's just a Lego game. So we're just building Legos all over the house. They're everywhere. And people are getting annoyed with us, but we're just playing a game. We're having fun. And then we take a break from the game, and we're eating lunch or something, and we take a break. And who knows that sometimes you get into a fight with your sibling, right? Yep.
Me and Claire used to be best friends. Like, we literally shared a room together. We played together. She'd not put up her hair. That she never lets me do.
Yep.
Then Charlotte came along, and Claire was like, am I still your favorite?
Oh man, that's tough. Yeah, well.
Another threw an exercise ball yesterday at me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sometimes you get into fights with your siblings. That's just how it happens. But anyways, me and Landon got into a fight one time, and I don't even remember what the fight was about, but it got to the point where we were mad at each other, and he said, I'm not playing the game with you anymore. I'm going to go get all my Legos and take them. And I was, of course, I was so sad because we were playing this awesome game, and it was all over the house, and we were spread all over the place, and then he was going to go in every single room and take all of his guys. All of his guys. All right, he took every single one of his guys, every single one of his pieces, all of his ships and his bases. He took them all. He took all of his stuff. And so now I go throughout the house and I'm just seeing all of my half-made stuff, and it's not even cool anymore. It's like, oh, this isn't even fun anymore. It's all just half-built stuff, and it doesn't really do anything now. I mean, the guys that we're fighting are now just one guy standing there just doing nothing. He's like, where did everybody go? And it's not as fun when there's not two things, when he cut off the half of it and the other half wasn't as fun anymore, right? So then I ended up cleaning up and the game ended and we didn't play anymore. I mean, I was so sad because we had this awesome thing going, and then all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore. And it was all my fault because I made him mad, and then he took his stuff away. And sometimes that happens with our friends and our relationships. Sometimes we're friends with someone, and maybe something happens, and then we stop seeing them. Maybe they move away, or maybe they did something to hurt us, or who knows what it is. But sometimes we lose a friend, and then it's not as fun anymore. We aren't really the same person when we lose a friend, because sometimes our friends are like our other half. They listen to the same music, they watch the same TV shows, they like the same football teams, they like the same soccer teams, whatever it is, and it's kind of like our other half. And then when they aren't there anymore, it's sad, and it's it hurts us. In the Bible, Jesus talks about this, actually. He talks about it. He talks about love, okay? So, and I know you're thinking, ooh, love. Like, it doesn't have to mean, ooh, love. It can just mean love. Like, hey, Asher, I love you. No, it's not gross. You just love people. That's what Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to love people. It's not like, ew, he loves that girl, ew. See, it doesn't have to be like that. You can love someone. You can love your friends. You can love your parents. You can love your brother. I know, sometimes, Hannah, it's okay. You can love your brother. It's okay? I promise, it's okay. All right? You can love people. It's fine. It doesn't have to be, ew, okay? All right. Well, I'm gonna read something. So in John 13, Jesus talks about love. In verse 34 through 35, it says, Jesus said, love each other just as I have loved you. You should love each other. Love each other. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. So Jesus is telling these people to love each other just as I have loved you. So Jesus is saying, you know how much I love you? Like as far as the east is from the west, you know how that's how much I love you? Well, you should love each other like that. And sometimes it's hard. Right? Sometimes when people do something to hurt us, or when they take all their Legos away from us, and then we're left with half a Lego game, and sometimes it's hard to love people, right? Sometimes. But Jesus said, it doesn't matter. You love them. Just as I have loved you, you love other people. then the world will know that you're my disciples. Now, this was near the end of Jesus' life. This was he had already washed the disciples' feet, and he was nearing the end, and he was trying to tell them that the most important thing is just to love other people. And they didn't even really fully understand how much Jesus loved them yet, because they didn't know what he was about to do. He was about to go to the cross to die for them. But they didn't even know that yet. Later, Jesus said, he kind of uses himself as, he says he's a vine. He's a grapevine. Does anyone know what a grapevine is?
It's a vine
Yeah?
with grapes.
Yes, exactly. It's a vine with grapes. So it's a vine, and then there's branches that go off the vine, and there's little grapes on them. Okay? And so Jesus says, he says, remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine. And you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. Yes, I am the vine, and you are the branches. Those who remain in me, and I in them, will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. So what he's saying there is that he's the vine, he's the grapevine, and then we're the branches, right? Now what happens when you cut a branch off from a vine? What happens?
You eat the grapes. Falls.
Yes.
You lose love.
You don't lose love. We're talking about kind of. That's what he's painting a bigger picture with this story. But what he's saying. Oh yes.
The branch falls.
The branch falls, and what happens? Does it keep on growing?
No.
Does it have any more grapes?
No.
Do those grapes do they stay good for a long time, or do they start to spoil?
Start to spoil.
Yeah. So when you cut a branch off from a vine, it's no good anymore. It's useless, right? Well, you can eat the grapes then, but the fruits don't continue to grow. It doesn't continue to grow because it's not attached to the vine. It gets all its resources from the vine. And Jesus is saying just like that we are the branches and he is the vine. And we get our resources from him. We have to go back to Jesus and he has to keep on pouring into us for us to be fruitful, for us to bear fruit. Now, I know what you're saying is well, what is fruit? What does fruit have to do with it? Well, just like we're learning about the life apps, they're called fruits of the Spirit. So in order for us to have love in our heart, we have to be attached to the vine. Just like a branch is attached to the vine. We have to be one with Jesus. We have to keep on pressing into Jesus. We have to keep on reading our Bible, going to church. We have to keep on listening to worship music. We have to keep on connecting with Jesus so that we can love others. All right? Now, excuse me. All right, now when we're separated, we can't produce the vine. Oh, look, Miss Patty has a vine. Oh, yeah, sure. I'll have it. So this is what a vine looks like.
Is it real?
No, it's not real.
I can tell that by the leaves.
Fake.
So yeah, this is a fake vine, but it's representing a real vine. So this is a vine. And what happens is the vine has resources in it, and they grow, and it grows grapes on the ends of it. But when we cut a vine, then it can't grow any. Oh, look at this. We got some scissors. Thank you, Miss Patty. All right, so when we cut it, now this can't produce anything. This can't produce any grapes. This will have lots of grapes. This will have lots of grapes. It'll make lots of grape juice, and it will taste very yummy. But this is worthless. This can't do anything. This is now, you know what this is? This is just trash. That's all it is.
Dead plant.
Yeah, it's just a dead plant. It doesn't do anything. Yes.
My mom I was praying in her for her mother today, and she put the clips burn in the soil when it was growing.
The what?
My mom clipped it was burning her plant, and she put that clipped off plant in the ground and it grew.
Yeah, that's a different type of plant. Yeah, I'm talking about grapevines. The vines that bear fruit. So Jesus wants us to bear love and to have love and to love others. But if we detach ourselves from Jesus, if we don't have Jesus in our hearts, then we can't love others. Jesus is showing us that we need him to love, and he is an example of love. All right. Now, this is what he says later in verse 12 of chapter 13. He says, "This is my commandment. Love each other in the same way I have loved you." We can remain attached to Jesus by that love. By loving others just as he loved us and pouring back into him and connecting with Jesus. That's how we are attached to the vine. That's how we can be branches. And when we love others, all of a sudden we start bearing fruit, bearing grapes, bearing delicious, yummy grapes that you can do whatever you want with them. You can make it into grape juice. You can eat them like that. Some people like to freeze grapes. Does anyone else freeze grapes? Yeah, I don't know about that, but
I make wine with them.
But just like how in my story with Landon, just how all of a sudden he took all half of his Legos and now I was left with not that great of a time, or when you have a best friend and they move away and you don't really see them anymore and your friendship starts to die. In the same way, a branch, when you cut off a branch from a vine and then it starts to die, that's the same thing that happens when we cut ourselves off from Jesus. Now it says that Jesus loved the whole world so much that he actually died for us. That he chose to die on the cross for our sins. No matter what we've done that's wrong, no matter what we've done to anyone, Jesus died for us. He died on the cross because he loved us so much that he wanted to connect us to him. He wanted to have that relationship. And so it's up to us to pour back into him, to connect to him, to come back to church and to spend time in prayer with Jesus. And when we do that, then we can find the peace and the patience and the kindness, and we can find all these fruits of the Spirit. All right? Now, we have a little video, and then we have some questions for you.